All right, I'm here with Tyson Houston. You're Clyde Bundy's nephew.
I am.
So tell me a little bit about what we're doing here today.
We're here to stand for our rights. There's been a lot of things going on in this country the last few years that are oppressing people, and we're here to kind of tell them that we're done with it. That we're sick of being pushed around and them not following their own laws and forcing these unconstitutional laws on us and holding people in prison for doing nothing wrong, standing up for their rights.
Let's go back to 2014 and what began all of this. Why was it important for it to actually happen? What brought it to a head?
What brought it to a head was the 30 years before that, and all the other ranchers in the state of Nevada. My family's been ranching in Nevada for a very long time, and a lot of them walked away from ranching because of the pressure that's been put on them by the federal government, trying to put them out of business. And I got one uncle that's a little bit stubborn and said no way.
And a lot of supporters.
And a lot of supporters. Well, there's a lot of people that have been in this neighborhood and this state that have been pushed out. You talk about Gold Butte and what he was kind of fighting for his grazing. There's a lot of people outside of ranching that have been involved in it. I have family and friends from where I live that have mining claims out there and were forced away from their mines, and land just taken from them because of some law that they're trying to push on them that's bogus.
The video that was released yesterday, 20 minutes, is kind of shocking to talk about what Eamon is saying that's going on. Have you guys heard it all from Ryan?
I haven't heard anything from either one of them since yesterday. I did listen to the video about Eamon and what he was put through. It's par for the course. That's how they've been treated since day one. They're being treated as criminals. They're being held like the terrorists.
Have you been able to go in and have any visitation at all here?
I've been in once, and I got to talk to all of my cousins. I got to spend a little over an hour apiece. And to see them in those states, I mean, there's very few people know them as well as I do. I grew up with them. They were some of my closest friends, and to see them all go through that. They're all in different stages, handling it in a different way.
Yeah, how are they handling it? Mentally, physically?
I'd say it's probably one of the toughest things they've had to go through, especially knowing that they're not guilty of anything, and to be treated like a dog. I think it's hard on them. I mean, these young men are as free as they get. The ranching way of life has kind of been dying out in this country, but if you want to talk about somebody that's free, it's normally a rancher. It's a cowboy. He can get up in the morning and do what he needs to do to make his own living in his own life.
Have you spoke to your uncle?
I have not spoke to him since he's been down here.
And so, can you tell me, is there going to be a lawsuit? Have you guys been filing a lawsuit on behalf of Eamon?
I have no information on that I can share.
And people want to find out more. I know you guys have a very active Facebook page, Bundy Ranch.
Yes, Bundy Ranch has a active, anything that's going on, anything that's of importance. If they want to find out kind of what really is going on and the truth behind everything, it's probably a good place to start. That's something that I'd like to say to most everybody is if you live in Nevada, if you are frustrated, if you're a hunter and you're frustrated with the areas being shut down to wilderness, if you're a bike rider or a quad rider and you're sick of being shut down off of normal trails and things that you used to do as a kid, or if you're a person that loves to go out and shoot guns and are sick of not being able to go outside your home and outside the Vegas Valley and be able to shoot anymore, if you're frustrated with these are the things that we are standing up for now. It's not just the cows, it's not just grazing, right? That's all part of it, but it's the huge government overreach that's going on. It's getting out of control. And if you are having problems with those or have concerns with those things, I would encourage every individual to go find the source, to go talk to somebody that was there firsthand at the Bundy Ranch state, or has firsthand been a part of the government overtaking something in their life, and find out for themselves, instead of all the bogus stories that are going around, all the secondhand information that's going around. Go find out for yourself, and trust me, your mind will change about a lot of things that are going on. They've said a lot of bad things about us, and they try to pinpoint a lot of things on it. But some of these people that are sitting in this prison are some of the best men, some of the best husbands and fathers and friends that you can have. believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. If I wasn't there myself and saw the things that I saw myself, and I just turned on the news and watched the news and got that little 30-second clip, I wouldn't have believed any bit of it. But I was there, I saw it, and it blew my mind. I could not believe that was happening in my country and in my state.
You guys will be out here on Mesquite for how long?
You know what? It's going to be give and take, I guess. You know, I think we're kind of fed up with the abuse. I think there's a lot of people that are fed up with abuse, and I think action needs to be taken. I think people need to stand up. I think the sheriff needs to get out here and investigate, and to realize that these people are being abused. It's uncalled for. You wouldn't treat a dog that way, and definitely should be treating these good men this way. And if they ain't going to handle it, then the good people of this state, the good people of this country are going to stand up, and we're going to have something to say about it.
Thanks so much for speaking with us.
All right. Thank you.
Good job.
Hey guys, we're down here at Pahrump. Tyson's going to tell a little bit about his visit a couple weeks ago with each of his cousins, Ryan, Ammon, Mel, and Davey. So we'll get that started.
I want to introduce you to Tyson Houston. This is one of Margaret Houston's sons, and he spent some time with the P3s the other day and wants to tell you about what's been going on. Okay.
Well, I can't remember that gentleman's name.
I don't even know where to start with it, but I had the opportunity to go and visit them actually for the first time since they've been incarcerated.
Oh, that felt good. I hope it was water.
Long time coming, and I actually felt kind of bad. I'd apologize to him because I didn't get to
You know what? If it's not
visit them sooner. But you know, the lady up front was pretty nice to me. At first, she told me that I probably had to do about 20-minute visits apiece, and in about 45 minutes into the first conversation with Ammon, she come over and said that they weren't busy and that I'd be able to spend the full hour and 5 minutes with each one of them. You know, it was really interesting seeing what kind of shape they were in at the time. Ammon and Ryan had both been in solitaire for a week, I believe, which I know long now that they've been in there a lot longer since that time. To see the difference between the brothers and how they were being treated. Ryan's always been a pretty strong individual, and he was handling it seemed like the best. Ammon was pretty tore down, and I don't know, it seemed like he'd been a chained up dog. Mel seemed like he was doing the best. You know, we spent most of that hour laughing and crying between the both. He's always been probably one of the closest that I've been with my whole life. I don't know if you noticed, we look a lot the same, but we had a lot of good conversations, a lot about growing up, and a lot about why they made the decisions they did to go and stand up for their neighbors and their friends, and some people they don't even know. You know, and there's one thing that I can tell you is that Ammon and Ryan and Mel, most of those individuals, I don't know if you listen or are religious, but they are very close to the Spirit, and there's not very many decisions that they make that they don't start and end with prayer. And I told them both Ryan and Ammon, I told them I was so ticked off they took over the refuge in Oregon. I was so mad, and I had spent that evening with my wife in prayer, and I was about ready to buy a ticket to go up there. And both individuals, when I shared this with them, spent a few minutes and talked to me about that experience and why they decided to go. Neither one of them knew what it would take and what it would do to this country. But from my little home, we've seen a huge change happen because of that. I had people from Facebook interacting with me from Norway and England and other parts of the world. It opened a lot of people's eyes, not only in this country, but it opened people's eyes in the world and to what's going on. And the biggest problem we're having in this country right now is the misinformation. People live in a little bubble, and I lived in that bubble too at one time. It wasn't until my cousin Davy and my mom were abused that it finally opened up my eyes. And I burst that bubble a little bit, and I started to investigate, and I started to do my own research. And that's something that I asked the news, and I asked everybody I talked to go do your own investigation. I mean, that's how we find out truth. It's not by somebody else's words. It's by our own investigation, our own study. And that's what I would ask you. And I think that's something that all the brothers told me to do. Something that I can do out here is to help educate and to help push people to find out for themselves. I wouldn't have believed what happened in Bunkerville if I wasn't there myself. I grew up in Logandale. It's a small town, not far from where it was at the end of the ranch most of my life. Been there during the summers and helped those boys do their farm work. And I wouldn't have believed that every other ridge top had either a sniper on it or cameras on it, or had a BLM truck or somebody in full out gear. And I used to tell the people in the valley that I'm from that wanted to close their minds to it that, hey, go get in your car and drive down the road you've driven down 100 times, and pull off to the side and watch. Within 5 minutes you'll have somebody armed telling you to get moving on.
Well, right now we got 2 guards right there trying to be incognito.
Hiding in the bushes.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. How we're just trying to be peaceful and stand up for rights, and here they are already incognito trying to be.
Well, and they're trying to demonize us.
Yeah, trying to demonize.
And that's what I saw that was happening up in
Not only are they demonizing us, this whole fiasco that they're doing right now is demonizing our boys inside with the other prisoners.
Yes.
Alienating.
Well, by alienating them from their families and not allowing them to have visitors.
Exactly.
You know, there's something that has been told me, and actually all the brothers said to me, that most of the people don't mess with them in the prison. Most of the prisoners do respect who they are. He said there's always some drama going on in there between the different gangs and the different races and the different factions that are in there. He goes, but there's been a unified front in the prison where most people respect who they are and know they're good people.
I think they've got a lot of converts on their hands in there too.
A lot of people that are listening and understanding what's going on. And some of those individuals have been wrongly prosecuted by federal stuff. So they can see their side. The real problem is us out here, that we hear those key words or those things that have been pushed through the media. And like I was telling my story, if I'd have just watched the news and didn't go out for myself, I wouldn't have believed them. And they're my family. I'm closer to them than most people are. And I would have struggled with believing them at all because of what I was hearing. And we got to somehow get past that. You people that are listening to this or watching this, we need to get past that. And we need to go to the source, and actually this source right here and the uncut videos are some of the best sources out there. And I'll be blunt up straight, man. I didn't listen to a lot of talk radio. I didn't do none of that stuff. I thought some of that stuff was off the wall, a little bit crazy. And I'll tell you what, most of those videos that come from those sites and those radio stations, those things that I thought were a little bit extreme to me, were the most pure and direct and honest. When I went back and saw what I lived and was a part of, and then I watched it reviewed, and there's some things that have been skewed a little bit, and things that might be, names were wrong or misinterpreted, but it is by far the closest to being correct. The news on the TV, I don't even watch the news anymore because I just can't stand of what's being brought across there. Yeah, and that they're looking for a story and they're not looking for the truth. And I don't know, that's something that I learned talking with my cousins in the prison, is that
someone was just asking who was talking, just to let you know, this is Tyson Houston. This is Margaret Houston's son, I believe, right? And cousin to Ammon and Ryan and Mel and everybody in there. And David.
Davy's always been the soft one in the family.
Yeah, they kind of rolled him around first, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And, you know, I had a pretty good conversation with him, and he seems like he's doing all right. You know, all these men were pretty hands-on with their families. They all have big families. And that's something maybe that hits me pretty close too, is that I have 7 kids. I got a beautiful wife, and I'm in the same, I empathize with them a little bit. They haven't been able to see their kids, and I've had to be not in prison, but I've had to go work out of state and stuff because of the work that I do, and be away from them, and how hard it is, and they're forcibly being taken away from their families. And these young kids haven't had a good father in the home for over a year, and that's something that we need to change. If I can say anything today, it is that we, the people, we need to make a stand, and we need to hold these people accountable for what they're doing. We need to hold this sheriff accountable, and the sheriff needs to come out here and needs to investigate what's going on. And if this sheriff does not, then we, the people, need to do something about it. It's time that we make a stand, and we try to put a stop to this. No matter what they're saying or whatever laws or whatever they threaten with us, we need not be afraid. And that's something, again, too, that Ammon posted. He told me in there, he goes, Tyson, what can they take away from me? They've already taken everything. He goes, the only thing they can't take from me is my free will. They can't. And he goes, I refuse to be strip searched. And there's nothing they can do about it. What can they do? Beat me? They already have. They'll stick me in a room and feed me through a door? They already have. What can they do more than they've already done? And they can't. But they can't take my free will. And he goes, the one thing that I've learned, he said, in this prison and through the time of this, is that I have learned to not be afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid of the consequences for telling the truth. And he goes, everybody out in the world, it seems like they're always afraid of doing something. And he shared a short story with me that he had with his daughter while he was in Phoenix. And his daughter was talking to him. They were driving down the road, and he said, oh, wouldn't it be so fun to jump in this irrigation ditch and have a swim? Just kind of like he was on the ranch himself. And he goes, well, let's go do it. Let's go jump in that water. And his daughter, oh, Dad, we can't do that. They would arrest us. And he proved that was his point, was that there's so many regulations and laws to everything that we do that we're so afraid to sleep where we want, eat where we want, go to the restroom where we want, live where we want, go jump in and swim where we want, because we're afraid of the consequences. And we're forgetting that this is the United States of America. This is a free country. And we have rights to all this land. We have the right to go and do these things without somebody looking over our shoulder. And he goes, I'm no longer afraid to do those things. I'm no longer afraid to do the things that are right. And that's something, again, too, that he was wanting to push across, is don't be afraid no more. Don't be afraid of their threats. And don't be afraid to tell the truth. And that's all I got to say.